All right, welcome. This will be the first video for the box, particularly if you are doing um, a wide lid rather than a long lid. Um, so basically, get so basically the box are going to make several pieces. It's going to be a long side piece, a short side, a short side. On the opposite side, there'll be another long side. And it's going to be a base which fits into all these sides, and then a lid. Now for this one, the lid is going to have joint hinges, and you have a little hinge here. Both of these sides are going to be the same. For this video, we're going to do these ones, the ones that are the same and have the hinge here, assuming you're doing a wide lid. So after this, we will go through these two, which are two different parts that are very similar to each other. This base is going to be the same regardless of which type. And then there is the lid itself. So that's what we're doing. We're doing this part. Let's get rid of this here. All right, the very first thing we're going to do for all these parts is we're going to make a box which is 4 by 3. That is so that when I export this to Illustrator, because for some reason I can't export it directly to the laser cutting thing, when Illustrator has it, it takes the relative values, but removes the absolute values. So if we want to maintain our dimensions properly, we need some form of reference, and that's what this is. Make sure nothing in your drawings goes outside the range of these. You can delete a couple of sides so that it doesn't make it more difficult to extrude things, because then it won't be a complete loop. But even if it's like a JPEG that you're tracing over for your design, make sure it stays within this range, or it'll make your stuff the wrong size. And then stuff won't fit together. So draw that in. It's to maintain dimensions. All right. So I need a 2-inch by 2-inch box. And getting kind of close to the edge there, so I'm just going to move it in and just click and drag, or I could use the move command. And for these ones, I am going to make some finger joints and some pin joints. The finger joints, so named because they look like fingers when they go together. They're also known as box joints because they're used in making boxes, which, hey, this is a box. So we're going to use a box joint, unsurprisingly. The thickness here is going to be 1/8 of an inch because I'm using 1/8 of an inch plywood, and this is going to need to be as big as that. And I hit enter when I should. And this is going to be 1/4 of an inch because I just want 1/4 of an inch box joint there. And I could go through and put it all along the lines there, but then it wouldn't work. Everything would become too loose, because if you remember, I had said that the laser takes out some wood. It takes out, turns out 1/80th of an inch of wood. So what I'm going to need to do here is I'm going to need to modify these dimensions to account for the 80th inch of wood. So I'm going to do plus 1/80 plus 1/80. And now they are bigger by 1/80th of an inch. And the size between them, the gaps are going to be 1/80th of an inch less. And what that's going to be when it actually cuts is this will be exactly 1/4 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch, and this will be exactly 1/4 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch. And then you'll be able to fit these things together without using glue. All right, I'm going to use a rectangular command to modify these, and I'm going to duplicate these. I'm going to have them going up. I need 4 of them and 1/2 an inch apart because, you know, 1/4 of an inch out, 1/4 of an inch in, and that's where it goes. Now, if I hit OK right now, it's not going to work. I will show you. OK, and I hit trim. I can't trim anything because if you remember from the very first lesson, let me retype these. I need to hit this little thing right here. And I need to remove associative because it is a feature, not a bug. And then when I hit trim, it totally trims. And oh, and it actually does. I didn't always do that. Or maybe the other video didn't work. And I do it again. 1/8 plus 1/80th by 1/4 plus 1/80th. I do that a lot because there's 4 of these parts. Well, 3 effectively. 2 of them are duplicates. Oh, note, if you want a different sketch on either side, you're going to have to draw 2 of them. But if it is the same sketch on both sides of the ones with the hinge, then knock yourself out. You have to change the direction it's pointing downward off the thing. So, or yeah, if I didn't remove associative, did I? Nope, I did not. One more time. Think about narrating as I go. It's easier to forget stuff. In to associative, remove associative, I should say. That last line, that was part of the box. And there we are. This is the start of it. Now I'm going to need a little box here. I'm going to center this box here. A little bit lower. This box is going to be exactly 1/4 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch. I am not offsetting it to deal with the kerf. The kerf is the difference in is the amount of wood that is removed from the laser. I'm not going to adjust it according to the kerf because I want it to fit tightly. I'm going to do a 1/8 of an inch in from the bottom. And it looks like I moved the whole thing, but these are size, which is good. And I'm pretty sure that is in the middle. Yep, 1 inch. That's fine. And oh shoot, that is the other one. This one doesn't need to be in the middle. So I'm going to change this one to 1/8. I'm going to delete this one. This one. I'm going to do one from here, and it's going to complain. I want that in by 1/8 of an inch. And it does weird things like that. You know what? Actually, this time it's going to be easier to just erase it and start again. Sometimes when you have something that has a constraint, it's easier to just redraw it than futz with getting everything to line up properly. So, ooh, got a little close. And now it doesn't do weird stuff. There we go. It moved the entire thing, but it didn't mess up my finger joints. I'm going to do this. Sure not. The only thing I am lining up with is the other one there. So I want 5, 5, 8. And then I'm going to do this, not the center point, from the edge to that edge. There we go. 20. And there we go. There is a couple of pin joints. These ones are going to be pin joints or tension joints. These ones are going to be finger joints or box joints. So names. I'm going to just double check my dimensions. That is correct. It is. These should all be 1/4 of an inch minus an 1/80th, which that's what that dimension is. These ones should be there. These ones should be there. Yeah, those are all matching up nicely. These are in the right location. They're 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, or not 1/4 of an inch, sorry, 1/8 of an inch. One thing I am going to do, I'm going to take this here, I'm going to move it in a little bit. I realize that dimensions don't actually count for keeping within this box, but you know, I want to keep it clean so that it that hopefully I don't that I don't miss something that's outside the box that's going to mess with my scaling. All right, one more thing I need to draw. I need to draw the spot for the pin hinge. And draw one of these rectangles. I want it not to line up with anything because I'm going to change its dimension. So I'm going to try to make sure I got 1/8 or 1/8, and I got no dotted lines constraining it to anything. So hopefully this works nicely. Mention it to that. I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch. And hopefully something went wrong. I want that to actually it's a little bit off. This one. So yeah, no, it is 2. Okay. That to be 2. That to be 2. These are okay. These are lining up again now. All right, so we fixed it, trying to helpfully adjust things. Now, it'd be really nice to do the center point in here. I can do that with the little dotted lines, or if I'm a little lazy, I can just draw diagonal line, diagonal line. When you get to geometry, you find out there's a postulate that says draw diagonal lines between on any rectangular surface and find the center. I want it to be there. And these are fine. They're just construction lines. You could change them to literal construction lines, but we're not going to. And I'm going to make the outside of the hole. I'm going to make 0.4. Keep it consistent with that keychain. This isn't exactly 0.2, but sure. I'm going to trim out the parts. It's like that was part of a box. That doesn't count. Okay, sure, it doesn't count. And I can trim these parts. Point. Then I'm just going to right click and delete them. Or select them and hit the delete button. One hinge piece. Now, one thing before we move on is we're going to need to extrude this, which is going to be easier if we have those lines removed and extruded by 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch. That's the thickness of the wood. We are going to need to assemble this eventually to make sure we didn't mess up. All right, and that looks good. If I was to draw a sketch on it, a design, I can, it needs to be in the original sketch. It needs to be in sketch 1. Sketch 1 needs to have everything here. Do it in separate sketch. It doesn't line up quite right. Keep it all in sketch 1. Draw a little happy face. Happy face. If it doesn't make it as part of the extrusion, that's fine. I mean, if you want, you can. You can go through and add it if it's there. But since this is going in the laser cutter, it doesn't have to be in closed loops. So sometimes it won't extrude it all anyways. If you had a happy face that was just lines, then yeah, it's not going to be part of the extrusion. That is fine. It doesn't have to. Although, if it does, it's easier to fill in. Not all of them are going to fill in, but yeah, some of them will. And yeah, that's basically it. We save our files. And do short. And then we move on. All right, so the next up will be the longer side, which is actually 2 different drawings. Unless, of course, you're doing this chronologically, then it's going to be the shorter side for the longer top. But this is the wide top, and the next one for the wide top is going to be those lengths right there.